All right, this topic seems a little interesting to me. So it's in the Discord. It's about this guy. His page is called Modern Day Leper, and he seems to run defense for EDP-like individuals. Also, there's a screenshot, and it seems legit, of this guy's first, middle, and last name on there, and what he was charged for. So this guy is an SO, we'll say, if you guys know what that means. He's been convicted as an EDP. We're speaking vaguely, okay, dude? It's the beginning of the stream, beginning of the segment. It seems like he had an interaction with somebody that was 21 in reverse, okay? So this is about how the tricking and trapping of these individuals is a bad thing. It seems like. I listened to a little bit of it. Certainly suspicious. Let's give it a listen, and then there might be one other video I might want to look at. Wild. Let's just see. This might be like our modern day Glendon Cameron here.
Tricked and trapped.
Okay.
Tricked
Okay.
and trapped. On today's Modern Day Leper with Ahmad Blakemore.
Yeah, Ahmad Blakemore. And that seems to be the screenshot that was sent to me. It's like this here. It seems to be him. Ahmad Blakemore. Sodomy of a 12-year-old. So this happened apparently in 2002. I don't know how old this guy was, but he looks pretty old, so it looks like he might have been in his 30s at that time, but I could be wrong about that.
Hello, how are you? And welcome back to another edition of Modern Day Leper with Ahmad Blakemore.
Definitely needed this, man. Thank you so much.
So over the past few years, we've seen an uptick in predator shows where we see
especially online and stuff. Yeah, sure.
The predator stings taking place.
Yep.
To Catch a Predator with Chris Hansen was one of the bigger ones.
Yep.
But there are a lot of them now.
Yeah.
And so the uptick in pedophilia type prosecutions is on the rise.
Good. We got to get these people off the streets.
Why is that? Why are these shows popping up? And
that's an interesting question. I think that, like, especially in the online days, it seems like a lot of people just want to do it for the content. I don't really care, though. I'm more, as long as they get arrested. I don't care why they get done, as long as it gets done. You know, you checked and he's 60. Oh yeah, so like what, 20 years, well, 30 years? He still would have been like a reasonable age. He was way over fucking 18.
Are these pedophile type actions and prosecutions taking place? We have shows like Law and Order SVU,
yes,
who is a big proponent of showing this type of action. Pedophiles, children.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of all of this?
I mean, yeah, children are like the ultimate innocence. You know, they're young and they're stupid and like they're blank slates and they don't really know any better. And then you have older people that prey on them. So
why are they doing this? What is the point that they're trying to make? Well,
part of it is entertainment value, I guess, but
it's very simple.
Okay.
The point that they're trying to make is they want to show that there is an uptick in pedophilia activity and that there are more pedophiles than there really are.
I don't think that that's what they're trying to show. I think that they're just trying to make entertaining content, and maybe some of it is to try to warn people.
And so they're going all out of the way to make sure that this propaganda gets out.
Okay, interesting.
Let's think
interesting choice
together.
Of words. Sure.
What is the purpose? And if we think a while, and let's use the Law and Order SVU type of model.
Okay.
The Law and Order SVU model is, there are two parts. The first part is the police who do the investigations, and the second part is the DA's office who does the prosecutions.
Okay.
Now, if we took that, let's take a look at it for a minute and see how all these prosecutions and uptick in pedophilia is coming about. There is a technique that
it really sounds like this guy's trying to run defense for predatory behavior, huh?
Police use to get prosecutions. This technique that they're using is used for hard to get criminals. Why are these criminals hard to get? Because the crimes are hard to commit. You'll understand.
You know that from personal experience, or?
And here in a minute. So this is called tricked and trapped. The police use a technique called
tricked and trapped. It just sounds like you really feel bad for these people who get caught in this behavior. You better have a hell of a good explanation for this, there, bud.
Entrapment. Entrapment.
Okay.
The action of tricking someone into committing a crime in order to secure their prosecution.
All right.
Let me read a different definition of entrapment.
But I need a scenario. Like, what is this magical scenario that you're trying to propose, where like they don't think they're meeting up with the kid? I don't understand.
For you, so we can have a full understanding of what this means. Entrapment is a practice in which a law enforcement agent or agent of the state induces a person to commit a crime
Okay.
that the person would have otherwise been unlikely or unwilling to commit. Think about that.
Now give me a scenario. Show me how this plays out. Because I'm not really on board with you right now, bud.
And so,
like, are you saying like, oh, what if there was somebody with like autism that had like a, for lack of a better term, the brain age of a 12-year-old, and they were like manipulated by a police officer to meet up with somebody that they thought was 12 or something? And then I'm like, okay, sounds like a pretty rare scenario. This guy seems like he has those wits about him. So like, how does that play out in the real world?
we get these predator trappers. Predator trappers. How do they go about trapping predators?
I don't know.
First, they need a house. They stage a house.
Okay.
They rent a house. They find a house. They hire
Yeah.
some actors
Okay.
to pretend that they are children. These
Sure.
actors could be 18, 19, 20, 25,
As long as they're over the age of 18, I'm fine with it. Yeah.
30. But they act like and sound like children, and they use them for bait
Yeah.
so
Okay.
that they can catch these would-be so-called predators.
Okay.
They're on these chat lines
Okay.
talking to these men,
Sure.
trying to entice them
That is mostly men, unfortunately. Yeah. Sure.
for sex.
Okay.
They tell the men that they are a certain age. I'm 14. I'm 15.
Yes, the age where you should go, oh, oops, and then you stop talking to them.
But I'm mature for my age. People say I look a little older. People say I'm smart for my age.
Listen, I don't know what generation you're trying to appeal to, but it's that the second anybody says that they are 15 or 16 or 17 or anything, that should be it. You're donezo. You're mentally out of it. Oh, that's it. There's no reason. It's over. There's no reason to engage. I don't care about the mentality of like, oh, but they looked old for their age. That's unless like you saw somebody and you're like, oh, they look like they're 20, and then you found out their age and they were younger than that. You're like, oh fuck, I didn't know. That is different from like, yeah, they said they were 15, but they were kind of hot. Like that's what you're trying to communicate to me right now. I'm not really empathetic to that perspective there, bud.
I don't act 14. I'm more mature.
Okay.
In the minds of these men, baiting their thoughts, enticing them, even sending pictures
Enticing them to want to fuck a kid.
of half-naked children with no faces, of course, but they're texting pictures to really get these men worked up, to really build their appetite, keeping the conversation going.
I mean, they were kind of looking for it in the first place, no? Where I could only imagine that the places that these police officers go to look for these predators are on illegal predator websites. It's not like they're going to like a local Walmart and trying to entice people, I guess. Like, what are you talking about? They're already on whatever the illegal site is on. It's not like it's a coincidence that they just came across them.
Enticing them, warming them up for the kill.
What the fuck?
But none of this works if the child cannot convince them to spring the trap. Police officers acting like 14-year-olds in order to spring the trap on pedophiles.
W trap, am I right, guys?
I think this is deplorable.
Why is it deplorable? The only criticism I have of this process is if it doesn't work, it educates the predator on how to get away with it next time, right? Because I would say that generally speaking, I would imagine that like when you're talking to somebody, generally speaking, when you're talking to a decoy, they're probably not. They're an adult, so they're gonna talk like an adult and they're gonna act like an adult and they're gonna be pushy like an adult in the way that a kid probably wouldn't be pushy about. And so these predators probably listen to that and go like, "There's a red flag here, but I really want to. They want to fuck a kid. They're disgusting." So they bypass the red flags or the way that the person talks to them. And then when they meet up with them, if they don't get caught, if they don't get taken off the street, now they look back and go, "Oh, there were red flags." Next time I go back to the same website, if I talk to somebody that talks like an adult, basically, I'm gonna ignore them, and then they're just gonna be more effective at talking to kids. So that's my only criticism. Is like I would say is like you have to get them. If they do this, you have to get them, because if you don't get them, it just makes them better at it the next time. So that's my only criticism. But I'm not critical of them getting taken off the streets. Like that's not at all. That's it's a good thing to get them off. Well, off the streets. You know what I'm saying? So
Why would adults act like children who want to have sex with adults?
To catch pedophiles, predators. Pretty easy one, man. I got that one for free pretty quick.
If they believe it's wrong for children to have sex with adults, why are they acting like children who want to have sex with adults?
So they catch them. They're predators. I don't know if you knew this.
Why are they, in essence, sexting pictures
What?
to grown men to entrap them? If
Because they're bad guys.
sexting is illegal, why is the police doing it?
I think you know the answer to this, buddy.
Why do they have the ability to entrap, to entice men to commit crimes?
Who are you trying to convince, bud? What the fuck?
These men are nervous. They decide, I'm not sure I want to do that. Well, here, let me show you what I look like.
Okay, that's an interesting take. So, so I guess we'll try to be a little charitable. So you're saying there's a scenario where these guys are really on the fence and they don't want to do it, but their urges are overcoming them, and then they end up getting convinced by what they think is a kid to come and fuck them. I mean, if you're that susceptible, I guess it's a good thing that you got caught. I mean, your best argument, I don't care about the catching at all. I think it's a good thing to catch them. Maybe your argument is, I think that after they catch them, they need better facilities to fix them. Maybe. I mean, that's your best argument, but I'm not really empathetic to this there, buddy.
Oh, a young boy, a young girl.
Okay.
How do you feel about this? Do you feel that this is right?
Yeah.
Would you allow someone to use your 13-year-old?
No, but I don't have to. They could use AI or just like an adult that looks young, so they can make it seem like they're a kid. So yeah, we don't have to use our kids.
Son or daughter as bait?
Well, that's not what they're doing. So
if the answer is no, and it should be, why do police, law enforcement, think it's a good idea to act like they're 13 or 14?
There's a difference between using my kid as a decoy versus adults acting like decoys, and you know that.
To induce men to commit crimes that they would not otherwise commit.
We don't know that. We have no idea of that. If they're willing to meet up with what they think is a 15-year-old, then they are willing to do it, no? I like the pause for dramatic effect. It's really making me think, how would I feel if I wanted to molest kids, you know? Like, what kind of a fucking argument is this?
We have to continue to investigate these men. So here's what we have to do now. We need to get them to the house. How do we do that? We have our 13, 14-year-old actors, which are really 30-year-olds, acting like they're 13 or 14. Let's send the address.
Okay.
Let's send our phone number. Let's tell them that our parents aren't home.
Cool.
Let's tell them we're alone for the weekend. Let's totally entice them and get them all worked up.
This is not where who's this message resonating with?
Get into their heads, mess with their imaginations. Understanding that law enforcement are trained professionals. Trained professionals who know how to get in the heads of men.
So you're the victim all along. Makes sense.
And they're using that training to entrap and trick. They're acting. There is no child.
Okay.
But they have to get you to the house because that is where the trap is sprung.
Are you just disappointed that there was no kid?
And they finally entice you to get to the house, and now you're there. And now they're springing the trap on you. Aha!
Yay. I feel like it's a good thing, man. Okay.
You came looking for a child.
Yeah, you did. That's gross.
We're going to arrest you.
Good. Yeah, good. This is pretty good.
And put you in jail. Because we were acting like children. Because we were using our imagination to make you think that there was a child here that wasn't really here.
But you thought it was a child, right? That's what you're saying. What you're saying is that you were convinced it was a kid and then it wasn't. This just sounds like you got caught trying to sleep with a kid. What the fuck are you talking about?
So there really is no victim?
Incredible. There could have been a victim. It could have been somebody's kid.
Law enforcement is in total control.
Good.
They control what is said. They control what is done.
Good.
They control all of the enticements. They control giving out the address, enticing the person to come, the children, so-called. Yes. And we find out that there are no victims, just actors.
There could have been a victim. So, yes, this is a good thing.
And so we're charging men.
Yeah.
For crimes that don't exist.
This crime does exist. Thank you for the $2 from Crashing Slowly. Oh my God, I thought he was AI. I locked this dude up. Yeah, for sure.
First of all, there are no victims because there were no children.
But you thought that there were, so there could have been a victim. And if you were going to do it here, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that you might have done it again, or you might have done it to an actual kid. So
the children were imaginary. We're being played by actors who are enticing men, entrapping them to commit crimes that they would not otherwise commit.
Again, you really don't know that. You're just making that assertion.
Through lies and manipulation.
I mean, maybe some of them wouldn't have gone through with it. But again, I don't know the exact infrastructure. But I don't think it's unreasonable to say that like they're finding these people on websites where child predators are, well, hanging out more often, no? So if they're hanging, if that's where they, you know what I mean? Like so if you're already on that website or whatever the fuck it is, you're already looking. You're not just like thinking about it, I guess, while you're at the fucking supermarket or something. You're actively on a website, like trying to find it. So that's where they're catching you.
Police officers are creating pedophiles and increasing the sexual registry for more sex offenders.
For fun?
Out of thin air.
Okay.
Because there were no children. There was no danger. Ever.
Okay.
Just actors using their imagination.
I was acting.
And because of that, someone is going to be entrapped.
Okay. Good. I don't care. What the fuck cares?
Entrapped to commit a crime. To be induced to commit a crime that they would not have otherwise committed. Now, let's look at the other side, which is the DA's office, the prosecution. These men will be prosecuted 100%, not for their 20% participation and the 80% participation of the police officers who rented the house beforehand, who hired the actors beforehand, who got on the chat lines beforehand, who told lies to the men, who enticed them to commit a crime that they knew was wrong, who contributed to the delinquency of these men.
I just I don't care about you. This is just fucking this guy obviously has a predator's framework. You know, I mean, I don't think many people would be empathetic to somebody who tried to meet up with a kid. But if he came on and was like, you know, I was in a really low spot and blah 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 blah, and I'm happy I got caught, I would be like, okay, I really just don't want to interact with you. But sure, okay, that's fine. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? But this guy's sitting here and he's like, no, like I was a victim of police officers trying to protect children. Please protect me. Like, what's the alternative? Not trying to catch these people before they fucking molest a kid? I don't understand.
And for their committing to the delinquency of these men, what is their punishment?
None. They're police officers trying to get fucking predators off the street.
DA's office.
Hopefully their punishment is a promotion. I mean, their punishment is having to deal with you sick fucks every day. That is a real punishment. Like, that's upsetting. Could you imagine being somebody who day in and day out has to deal with like predator shit all the time? Like you have to. That sucks. That would be horrible. That's horrific. That's mentally twisting. Like having to parse through like legitimate child pornography and shit to catch predators and all this other weird shit. Like I would never want to be. I heard of like a story where a guy that was like his job, and he was like his job to like do database kind of stuff for like, you know, CP, and he ended up getting like addicted to it. That's like insane. Like that's fucking wild. Like I feel bad for them because of that stuff. Like that's like an actual punishment. But outside of that, like, you know, they deserve a promotion, a raise. You know, it's tough work, man.
What charges do you bring against law enforcement for their contribution?
None.
To the delinquency of these men against minors.
Okay.
Because if you're going to charge these men for imaginary victims that don't exist,
okay,
for being a part of a show, a sham, a lie,
show, a
farce,
sham, a fart, yeah.
Then you have to prosecute the police officers for putting it on.
You don't, actually. I don't know if you know this, but you don't have to do that at all. Isn't that crazy?
Because without the police officers putting it on, there would be no crime. There would be no minor child, because there was no minor child in the first place. The child was manufactured by police officers and law enforcement.
Well, it's better than the child being manufactured by somebody's, you know, two parents and then you molesting them.
And they don't exist. At the end of the day, we have men being prosecuted for imaginary victims being played by adults
okay,
who never got harmed, who put on lies.
Incredible.
And worked to entrap innocent men.
Well, now, guys, I feel so bad for these predators. I didn't realize it was so hard.
To commit a crime that they would not otherwise have committed.
Again, you don't know that they would not have otherwise committed the crime. You're just saying that. So there's no like actual any credibility behind what you're saying at all. So yeah.
My name is Ahmad Blakemore. I am the modern day leper, and I will see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Wow, this guy is extraordinarily concerning. There's one more I'm kind of curious in taking a look at. This one's more recent. It's called Ensuring Safety, How Sex Offenders Make the Right Choices. And that is just a wild title. Thank you for the small gut from Gare Bear. So let's just see this one. I'm curious about it.
Sex offenders, right thought, right action. On today's Modern Day Leper with Ahmad Blakemore.
This is the kind of person that would commit again. This is the problem. Like this would be to people general evidence that reformation clearly is not working. You know, I'm not saying we shouldn't try to reform people, because I obviously do think that we should try to reform people. I'm just saying that like this screams to people that the reformation doesn't work, because this guy was clearly caught with apparently a 12-year-old girl sodomizing a 12-year-old girl, and he is not apologetic about it in the slightest, and that's like really concerning.
Hello, how are you? And welcome back to another edition of Modern Day Leper with Ahmad Blakemore. I'd like to say hello to all of our leper fans, our lady lepers, and our entire leper nation.
Lady lepers, that's wild. Like it's disgusting for anybody to sympathize with these people, but I feel like it's almost, and I hate to say this, it might sound sexist, it's almost worse that it's a woman sympathizing with them, because like you should have a better understanding of what it's like to be predatorized by a disgusting man as a woman, you know what I mean? So like you're gonna sit here and you're gonna fucking like you're gonna sit here and fucking have any level of empathy for somebody that would have harmed you. Like you must be ugly as dog shit and want a guy to fuck you that bad. That's crazy work.
How's everyone been? So today we're talking about right action, or right thought, right action. Right thought, right action. So I've been on this channel for about 2 years now, talking to registered people about ways of improving their lives.
You know how you could improve your life as like a registered sex offender? You could end it. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends. If you like, I don't know. What's a reasonable excuse to be a registered sex offender? None, right? I mean, unless like you were streaking or something and ended up getting registered, then I could feel bad for you maybe, because like you were just being stupid and you got that. But like, how often is that happening? I feel like most of the time it's these people are molesting kids.
And I've taken
Or anybody for that matter. They don't even have to molest kids. Like molest anybody. Like they're doing some creepy shit.
a lot of phone calls where people have gotten themselves into a lot of situations and they want to get relief from those situations. I've also talked to victims of situations, cried with them and given them solutions.
Fuck.
I've talked to both sides, the victims as well as those who perpetrate
Why would a victim ever want to listen to you?
acts upon these innocent victims. And in the process of all of this, we always get the question, why? Why? What brought this on? How come this happened? What was going on in the life of this person that made this happen? And in the process of studying these phenomenon and why all these things happen, the power that moves us to take action is broken down into two parts. The first part is thought. Thought is defined by an idea or opinion produced by thinking or
You had to look up the word thought?
occurring suddenly in the mind. An idea or opinion produced by thinking. That is thought.
Okay.
The other part is belief. And belief is defined as accept something as true, to feel sure of the truth of, to accept something as true.
Cool.
When we work to do things, we have a thought about that thing.
Yeah, sure.
And when that thought comes to our mind,
This doesn't sound deep at all. I don't know if this guy thinks he sounds like deep, but I love that he has merch in the background. Like he's really trying to profit off of being a fucking predator of children. Isn't that crazy?
have the ability to say,
Where's
I
my
believe I
add-on?
can do this, or I don't believe I can do this. If we believe we can do it, we move forward. If we don't believe we can do it, we do not take action. When we start to think and ideas start to permeate our minds, the more we think on the idea, the more vivid it becomes in our mind.
Get to the fucking point. What the fuck?
And if we believe it's possible, we start to take steps toward that idea. The more steps we take, the more reinforced we become, the more we believe that we can do it. These are the things that start us to take these actions.
Okay.
Whether these actions are negative or whether these actions are positive, it doesn't matter to the outcome, because when
I think it matters quite a bit to the outcome. What the fuck are you talking about?
the thought or idea or opinion comes into your mind, if you believe and accept it as true, you act upon it. This
Okay.
starts the
None of this is intelligent, just to be clear. All of this is just rambling about how people have thoughts. And the reality is some thoughts are bad. That's just a fact of the matter. Some thoughts are not good. Some thoughts are bad. Some thoughts are destructive. And they can get people hurt. And those are the thoughts of trying to molest children. That's it. And so there's no real debate to have here about getting caught. There's only the real debate to have of like, how do you potentially treat, like what energies or efforts do we bother putting in to try to help people who have these desires, of course, before they actually molest a real child, because at that point, I think you should just get executed, capital punishment, legal capital punishment. So, like, okay.
conception, the birth. This is why the Bible speaks of it.
Okay.
The angel tells Mary, you will conceive. And she says she has not known a man. And the angel tells her that the Spirit of the Lord will move upon her.
Okay.
Taking her thoughts from a lower nature to a higher nature. That he is not talking about
Gotcha.
physicality with a man. He is talking about a mental process.
What the fuck are you talking
The
about?
first point of conception is in the mind. What the mind has the ability to conceive as a thought, as an idea, and then grasps hold of with a strong belief, it becomes a conception, a birth. And when we start to give those thoughts more and more and more belief, we start to take action on those. And again, it doesn't matter if it is positive or negative.
It does. It does matter. Those matter a lot, actually.
When we start to understand that we are responsible for our actions, when we get phone calls and men have gotten themselves into situations where they have hurt young girls, children, it's because those men have given thought to ideas, and those ideas have moved into a point of belief in their mind.
Okay.
And they believe that this child that they're responding with or talking to is real.
I really just I like this fundamental concept of trying to argue that a grown adult male has the same mental agency as a child. It's just fucking wild, brother. What the fuck? And like, you're infantilizing like these grown men. You're infantilizing them. You're saying that they don't really possess the ability to make their own decisions
because
they're somehow equal to these kids. Although I think a lot of this is contingent on, in his mind, the fact that they're not really kids. They're just fake kids.
Believe it. They start to take action. Once the thought has been seeded and the belief has been turned on.
Okay.
If you are taking a negative action, it is going to be hard for you to stop yourself. If you truly believe that you can perform this action without ramification or consequence, this is why these actions are taken. This is why children become endangered. Because men are thinking these thoughts.
Okay.
When these thoughts should be immediately dismissed.
Gotcha, bud.
Because right thought causes right action.
What the fuck are you talking about?
But we don't have right thought. We believe these negative thoughts that come into our minds, and we believe in the scenarios that our minds are working with.
He's just talking to talk at this point. And he's talking to talk, and he's talking to try to sound intelligent.
That no one is going to be hurt. That we will get away with these actions.
I'm trying to figure out where you go to get these things here.
That I can actually pull off this thing that I'm thinking.
It might be here.
It becomes so real in your mind that it has produced an outcome. The power of manifestation is real. When the mind has conceived a thought, an idea that has just occurred in the mind. And when you vividly see it, if your mind can accept it as true, if you can believe and feel sure of the truth of this idea, then you have the ability to manifest this idea in your world.
Oh, Lord, I can't wait for this to be over.
Just as we have the ability to manifest negative things, we have the ability to manifest positive things. The concept is the same. The thought, the idea, seen in your mind, vivid, in detail. If it is accepted as true.
I love how this is probably all he thought about while he was in jail. It's just how he could justify the behavior of trying to rape a kid. That's what he tried to. That's what he apparently did. He molested a 12-year-old girl. So,
if you believe that you deserve to have, and that you can have what you think, what you've thought about, the ideas in your head, the ideas that you see for you and your family, the good things that God has, they are available to you. The same way we have the ability to see the bad things. The same way we have the ability to reinforce the bad by speaking on it, by continually talking about it. The system works the same when it comes to manifesting the positive good things.
Okay.
By holding those images and ideas in our mind and believing in them and moving toward them, talking about them constantly, having great feelings and emotions and conceiving them in our minds. We have the ability to create as much good as bad. And when people say we can only do bad, people can't change, people can't do better, people aren't capable, it's not true. It's just a matter of thought. Because right
Holy
thought
shit.
leads to right action. And right action is creative. You can create anything you want with the right thought, the right belief system, the right words, the right emotions, and the right people around you. My name is Ahmad Blakemore. I am the modern day leper, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, right thoughts, gentlemen.
Wow, that was horrible. I really don't feel like engaging anymore with this guy's content. It's very clear that this is somebody who, from the record that we saw, raped a 12-year-old girl, sodomized her, which means I think sodomy is really just anything that's non-vaginal sex. So he might have anally raped her or in the mouth or something like that. Sorry, it's a little intense and explicit. I'm sorry. And he's justifying why, like, he was actually somehow the victim. I mean, he was charged with it. So that's for what it seems like. So it's not even like he was caught in a fake predator sting unless he was arrested for actually molesting a child and then trying to do it again, which that's possible. Maybe that's the case. I don't really know, but that's kind of what it seems. I don't know. But the whole thing just seems to be about how it really wasn't his fault because kids are attractive or something. I don't really know what else to say. So definitely like Lennon Cameron 2.0 over here. It's fucking wild work, man.